Well, what is going on, Bills Mafia? We are live at Zydeco in Tampa, Florida, and it is crazy here. It is loud in here, and this is the time to shine, the Bills Mafia time to shine on the Buffalo Rumblings vidcast network, and I don't have great internet service, so we're going to do the best that we can. If you're watching me live right now, do me a favor, just focus on the voice. Focus on the voice. Don't worry about the picture. Just focus on what's going on. But it is so good to have every single one of you that are joining me in the chat. What's up, Brian Bowers? What's up, John Herring? It's good to see you guys. It's funny because there's a lot of regulars for this show that are actually in attendance here at Zydeco in Tampa in the Ybor District. But this is the Bills Mafia time to shine on the Buffalo Rumblings vidcast network. As I said, do me a favor, whatever platform you're watching on currently, please remember to like and subscribe to the Buffalo Rumblings vidcast network on YouTube. Super Chats are live. However, this is not a Super Chat show, and I think you know that. This is a show where I want you to come on with me. I want you to come on live. And I want you to give me a hot take for tomorrow's football game. Not only a hot take for tomorrow's football game, but I want you to give me a Josh Allen stat line prediction. I want you to give me a score prediction. But before we get into any of that, the Buffalo Bills are here. Their plane has landed. They're looking to rebound from a loss to the Patriots on Monday Night Football. That, let's just be honest, was a little bit soul-crushing, that loss. But if they can figure out a way to upset the Bucs in the football, can figure out a way to come out and let that offense loose and let that offense cook. If they can figure out a way to shut that Buccaneers offense down, this could be a lot of fun for us Bills. The Buffalo Bills have averaged 33 points a game earlier. I should say they had averaged 33 points a game early in the season, and right now they're averaging about 22 points per game. You have to wonder in this football game if 22 is going to be enough, not only against that defense, but against that offense. The Buccaneers offense is going to score. They're the number one scoring offense in the league. We'll talk more about that in a second. The line is open. If any of you want to join me for the time to shine, if you want to jump on with me right now, that would be awesome. Just click that link that I've provided. I'm hoping that you all can hear me. It's my opinion that the Buffalo Bills are going to have to do the best they can to cut Josh Allen loose. And if they try to figure out some way, or if they decide that what they're going to do is be the exact same thing that they have been over the last, well, let's be honest, 12 games, 11 games, which is trying to force some weird run scheme that doesn't work behind an offensive line that doesn't work with guys that seem to be a little bit ill-prepared. It just hasn't been working. If they let Josh Allen be Josh Allen in this football game, I have a feeling this is that game where you push all the chips to the middle. I've said it 100 times. I've talked about last year, 2020 versus 2021, when the defense wasn't good, versus this year when they were. And it feels like the Buffalo Bills have a little something to lose this year. And what they're doing is they're playing a little conservative. If the Buffalo Bills can find a way to not be conservative in this football game, in my opinion, and I think you all would agree, it stands to reason that this game is going to be a lot better for them. A lot better. We're going to see Levi Wallace and Dane Jackson in this game. You know, obviously Dane Jackson's first game starting with the injury to Tre'Davious White was last week against the Patriots. Mac Jones threw all of 3 passes in an entire football game. But this game, he's going to be tested. He's going to see himself play against Mike Evans or possibly Chris Godwin. My guess is if I had to look at this game or guess, Buffalo Bills are not going to have Levi Wallace stick with one of those guys. Levi and Dane are going to stick to the right and the left. They're going to hold their positions, and they're going to stay in those positions, regardless of who they're lined up against. But the Buccaneers have weapons. We all know the Buccaneers have weapons. I see you, Brian Bowers. Just hang on for a second, buddy. But the Buccaneers have weapons in this game. You know, if you're not familiar, they've obviously got Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. We're talking about a situation where currently Antonio Williams is not on this football team, and it remains to be seen if he's going to return. But the Buccaneers also have Gronkowski. They've got Cameron Brate. They've got Leonard Fournette. They've got a good offensive football team, and this defense of the Buffalo Bills is going to be tested. They've got their work cut out for them. But let's not be foolish. This Bills team can be dangerous, very, very dangerous. However, like I said, it's only if they let the training wheels off. My guy Brian Bowers is in the room. Brian Bowers, what's up, buddy?
What's going on, Joe?
I'm having a real hard time hearing you. Hang on, just mute my microphone.
You can hear me?
I think everybody else can hear you, but it's so loud in here that I can't hear you.
Yo, I got like 2 minutes, Joe, maybe less.
The show, just let it flow. Let it flow, my guy.
All right, so Joe, I have almost, I'm gonna say maybe 30% confidence that the Bills are gonna pull up this upset in Tampa Bay. The way they've been playing, the way it seems like Dable and McDermott and Allen are just not all on the same page. The way they've been trying to force the run, I think this matchup doesn't bode well for them. However, the passing game, yes, because their secondary's been kind of banged up, but that front four they have, if we try to force the run and just run up the middle over and over again, it's going to be a waste of time. Starless Hule being out, that worries me, even though he played, last game and we still gave up 200-something yards rushing. However, that was only on one big run. I think it's going to be difficult, Joe. I want to have confidence in this team, but I've seen you said it all the time. They are who they are. They are who they've been showing us, and I honestly believe that, and I don't think they're going to be able to beat this team. I think they could beat them, but I don't see it happening tomorrow. I don't hear you, Joe. You're on mute.
Sorry,
there you go.
That. So what I was saying is I agree with you that I think this football can beat this Buccaneers team, but I think it's going to be very difficult. I think they're going to have to become something that they have not wanted to be this year. Brian, when you think about this offense and who they're trying to be versus who they were last year,
yeah,
where does that put you mindset-wise coming into this game? Do you think that they're willing to break out of that shell, or do you think that they're going to want to see more of what we've seen this year?
I mean, I've said this many times about, McDermott and Dable and this whole coaching staff just being arrogant and stubborn. I want to believe that they're going to finally say, you know what, we're desperate now. Like, this is crunch time. We can't keep mounting these losses. I want to believe that, but I also believe that McDermott and the coaching staff are who they are. And I don't see them. It's like they said with the nickel 2-4-5, right? And they kept playing it over and over. They didn't even have a thought about changing in that game against the coach. However, they did that last week. I'm 50-50 on it, Joe. I'm 50-50. And I still think, if Tampa Bay's smart, they're going to play a lot of cover 2 shell. Josh Allen has to be willing to check down. We've seen film where they're playing 2 shell to the Bills, and Josh Allen is just looking deep, only deep, and he doesn't want to check it down when there's guys right in front of him. And then he'll come too late, like that interception that happened when Emmanuel Sanders was wide open against the Saints. That can happen. And that's happened, I think, too often this year. That something is just off with this offense. And I think it is something with Dable and McDermott not being on the same page.
That's actually a great point. I guess that leads me to my next question, which my next question would literally be, Do you feel it's Brian Dable, or do you feel it's Sean McDermott that's putting the brakes on this offense?
I'm starting to think it's McDermott. I'm starting to think McDermott, after last year, after the playoff run we had, and after seeing how Chiefs kind of played us differently and we got beat up front and we couldn't run the ball, I think McDermott had it in his mind that we're going to have to be more physical. We got to run the ball. And I think Dable's kind of just like, all right, like you said, all right, I'm just going to run the ball. He might have told him that you don't have to coach what to do, but how much can Dable really say to the head coach? Ultimately, it's going to be up to the head coach what we do. So I do think it's a McDermott thing. I don't think it's a Dable thing, because when Frazier wasn't doing his thing, McDermott took over. McDermott, however, can't take over the offense. I think it's a McDermott thing.
Gotcha. No, it's hard for me not to disagree with that take as far as it being McDermott. And I think what scares me coming off the Patriot game, McDermott making the comment to the press that, Dable and I are on the same page. So with that, if you've got a hot take, if you didn't give it to me already when I couldn't hear you, I can hear you now, which is good. I made some adjustments. If you've got a hot take, what would that hot take be for tomorrow's game? Like, outside of you feeling like the Bills can't pull this off, is there something you're watching for in this game from the Buffalo Bills?
Yes, and it's on the defensive side of the ball, because I think the offense will be able to score. I still feel the Bucs are going to, like, I have Tom Brady in my fantasy team. He's been lights out all year. So I feel the Bucs are going to score points. My hot take is, and this is the way the Bills can win this game, the Bills have to get at least 5 sacks on Tom Brady. That's my hot take. They're going to get 5 sacks on Tom Brady. That's the only way they're going to beat this team. 5 sacks. That's a hot take.
That's big. You talk about a quarterback that gets the ball out, in under 2 seconds, if not 2.1 seconds at a time. I mean, that's a big statement. If the Bills do that and they can put, 24, 27 points on the board, it's good. I'll be honest with you. I'm in a situation where if the Bills got 5 sacks on Tom Brady and lost this game close, I'm probably feeling good about that game, right?
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
That's crazy, dude. That's crazy. Score prediction. What do you got for a score prediction?
Ooh, okay. I'm going to say 27-21 Bucs.
27-21
I don't think the
Bucs.
Bills are going to pull this off.
I got to respect that. Josh Allen stat line tomorrow. I think they'll let him cook. I think they'll let him run, or let him go, rather.
I mean, they better let him cook. If he throws for 300 yards, which he should, the Bills have a chance. But if it's the same kind of game we see, where he's just like, kind of pedestrian, not really the Josh Allen games we're used to seeing, then yeah, there's no way we're winning this game.
I'm going to be honest with you, Brian. I think what's been missing from this season is you on the time to shine. Like, you have been missing this season from the time to shine. So I hope that you bring the luck. So I hope that you're the reason that this football team does good tomorrow. But brother, this football game, it's easy here, and I wish you were here. But we got to meet up sometime too. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I'll talk to you soon, and I'll catch you after the football game. Go Bills.
Go Bills. I appreciate it, Joe. Go Bills.
Go Bills, bro. See ya. So that's my guy, Brian Bowers. And Brian is the man as far as that goes. And Brian was a staple last year on the Bills Mafia Time to Shine on my prediction show, or I should say my pregame show on Saturdays last year. But Brian is that's his cameo, if you will, for 2021. So it's to have Brian. Brian is the man. As always, I've said it 15 times. I hope you believe me. If you're not following Brian on Twitter, you should be. But the Buffalo Bills have their work cut out for them in this football team. And like I said, let's not be foolish. This Bills team can be dangerous. They can absolutely be dangerous. Brian and I were just talking about it. If they allow Josh Allen to do Josh Allen things, the Bills can win this football game. It's not outside the realm of possibility. But they're going to have to take the training wheels off. And frankly, I'm just not super duper confident that the Bills will let that happen. Just not confident. You're talking football that at one point in time was number 1 in offense in the NFL. They've slipped to number 9 in yards and 5 in points per game. And I'll be honest with you, averaging 22 points a game, they're actually around 7. It's not great. It hasn't been great. And as much as there's a lot of stats out there that talk about the run-pass ratio, that it's the same as last year, that Josh Allen's numbers are right around the exact same, and he's trending the exact same that he was last year, I don't think there's a single person, not only in Bills Mafia, but also around the NFL, that would try to tell you or sell you some idea or line that this is the same exact offense that it was last year, because frankly, it's just not. It's just not the same offense. So we're going to see. But I think what's interesting and what's kind of scary is when you ask the question, who is the number one offense in the NFL? The answer is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady has been playing like a man on fire. I think he's throwing the ball. He's averaging 35 or 40 passes a game. They are literally in no training wheels mode. They're at a point where they're literally doing what we were doing last year. They were using the pass to set up the run, and it's working for them. It's a recipe that can work for the Buffalo Bills if the Buffalo Bills will work that recipe. My fear is they're not going to, and we're never going to find out why. But all is not lost. The Bills still do boast the number one defense in the entire NFL. And this could be a heavyweight bout between these football teams. You could potentially, between these two defenses, you could potentially see a low-scoring game. I don't think it's going to happen, but you can see it. My expectations, however, for this football team have leveled off quite a bit from where I expected them to be early in the season. I expected the Bills to come out flying, allowing the guns to just blaze on offense, and they have not done that. Appreciate you, as always, Brian. Thanks for coming on the show, dude. I hope you are the good luck charm. If you're the good luck charm, if the Buffalo Bills beat the Bucs tomorrow, Brian, you got to come on every single time to shine until we win the Super Bowl. I'm just not sure, guys. I'm not sure which Buffalo Bills team we're going to see. And I don't mean that even in this football game. I'm at the point where I'm not sure which Buffalo Bills football team we're going to see week to week. I've got nobody in the queue right now, so if you've got the opportunity, the ability to come on with me live, you want to come on with me live, please do so. Jump in. I'll be on for a couple more minutes. And yes, John, he did predict a loss. We can't always predict wins. Sometimes reality bites us in the butt sometimes, but it is what it is. I think when I think about this football game, it literally is going to be Tom Brady against – it's going to be Tom Brady versus our defense and Josh Allen versus their offense. The difference being between these two scenarios, Tom Brady versus the Bills and Josh Allen versus the Bucs. I know you're thinking, well, Joe, that's obvious. Well, the unobvious part of it is Tom Brady has the full complement of his entire playbook. Tom Brady has the ability to do what Josh Allen was allowed to do in the fourth quarter of last week's game, where the Bills decided, maybe we should throw the ball a little bit. Josh Allen has been handcuffed this year, in my opinion. Does that mean he's going to be handcuffed tomorrow? We don't know. For the rest of the season, you've got to hope at some point in time that the Buffalo Bills are going to allow them to be who they are. It's frustrating. It's incredibly frustrating. And the thing is, I sit in this room. I was at the patio earlier, and the patio was mobbed with Bills Mafia. I sit here at Zydeco in the Ybor district in Tampa, and it's mobbed here. The entire district is mobbed with Bills Mafia. This fan base is incredible. This fan base travels. This fan base loves their team. And I'm just going to say it, this fan base deserves more than they're getting in 2021. And I think what's interesting, what has to be talked about more, and I brought it up on my show. I brought it up on the Hoof Live. I was a guest on the Hoof Live with Sterling and Anthony this week. Something needs to be talked out as it pertains to Sean McDermott just looking completely different than he has ever looked on the sideline of an NFL football game. And that look was desperation in the fact that he could literally feel against the Patriots that the season was slipping away. And he's faced with the question, what can I do to change that lot? Can I open up my offense? Can I improve my defense? Can I make the run game? Can we make the run game more effective? And frankly, I'm just not sure. I know we can't make the defense better. That defense is freaking stellar. I'm not sure we can make the run game better. The run game is just inefficient. It is what it is. But we can make that pass game better. John Herring he comes in and he says, that it's embarrassing that this fan base has lost their confidence. John, that's not embarrassing. Sometimes it's reality. The Buccaneers are the world champions, the reigning world champions. They've got the number one offense in the league. They've got yes, they've lost. You put it in there. I think that they lost to the Washington football team, which, hey, great. That's awesome. The Buffalo Bills lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars. So what does that mean? It's a week-to-week league, and the reality is sometimes you have to talk about the conversation and you have to talk about the situation for what it is. And I don't think there's a single person in Bills Mafia in some sort of a sane mindset that would come out and say, I expect the Bills to beat the Buccaneers 40-21 this weekend. If you're thinking that, John, I'd love for you to come on the show. Click the link. Tell me why you feel that the Buffalo Bills can beat this Buccaneers team. If you've got a hot take, if you've got a take that's going to tell us and make us more confident in what you see and the things that you feel the Bills can do to beat this football tomorrow, I'd love to hear it. My confidence, believe it or not, it's not waned in the team. It's not waned in the players. I don't have a lack of confidence in Tremaine. I have a lack of confidence in Dane Jackson. I don't have a lack of confidence in Matt Milano. I don't have a lack of confidence in Ed Oliver or Josh Allen or Von Diggs or Emmanuel Sanders. My lack of confidence, 1,000%, my lack of confidence is in the coaching staff. 1,000%. And I don't think that's a ridiculous statement. My guy, the Pullout King, just met him literally 10 minutes before the show started. Thank you for the super chat, my guy. Awesome meeting you, bro. Go Bills. There's a couple other people here at Zedek. They're going to be lining up, going to be doing a little bit of meet and greet, which is awesome. But it's been a fantastic weekend, and Bruce Nolan talks about it all the time as far as your expectations minus disappointment equals reality. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. My expectations have changed a little bit, and I'm okay with that. I've not necessarily seen this football team be the team that I thought they were going to be. So with that, we have to decide at that point, who is it that we're going to get in our own minds? And we'll see. Trigg says this game reminds me of the Seattle game last year when people thought they would beat the crap out of us. I don't disagree. This game has those makings, and it remains to be seen what we're going to get. And it's borderline a crapshoot. We honestly don't know. John, I love this. John, I love this content. Comment. John says, we literally had 3 drop balls last week that made a difference, or that 3 drop balls that made a difference in last week's game. It may have been more. I think there were 7 drop balls, which would have put Josh at about that 65% where we want him to be. Makes a huge difference. Right now, I'm joined by my guy, Richard Rush, all the way from Ohio. Richard, how you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Doing all right. Well, good to see your face. I appreciate you joining me. How's this game got you feeling, dude, especially after that Patriots game last week?
I'm really nervous. I'm trying not to get my hopes up too much. Just been hurt. I mean, a lot of people complain about that, but I've replayed a lot of things in my head trying to figure out a scenario where we could win, and it's difficult.
I don't disagree. When you think about what you said, expectation has changed. It's not always a bad thing. I mean, this team looks different than they did last year. And to John's point, they had every opportunity to win that football game last week. Like a couple passes that got dropped, that got caught, and it's a different scenario. They're within reach. They've just got to – I want to see that they've got to execute plays. They've got to execute. That sounds so simple, right? I mean, it just sounds so elementary and basic. But in mind, what else has to be done? What's up, Denard? Good to see you. In your mind, what else has to be done?
They have to open up the playbook for Josh. If they don't throw 50 times a game, we're not going to have a shot. They need to feed Beasley. They need to feed Diggs. Sanders has to be active. We're not going to win the game by running the ball or, we're going to have to start off with taking what the defense gives us and quick passes and dinking and dunking and getting Beasley in the game, and then let that open up everything else up like a run game.
Yeah, a big one as well is that the Bucs have not done a very good job this year covering tight ends. I think they're one of the worst teams in the league defensively against tight ends. Dawson Knox could have a big game this week if he's focused, right? If he's tuned in and cued in on catching the football. Do you have a hot take for me, Richard, outside of anything that you've already told me? Is there something that you feel that you're going to be watching in this football game?
The biggest thing I'm going to be watching is we know that Brady's going to be picking on Jackson. And Jackson takes a lot of risks. He guesses. And he's an all or nothing cornerback. And I think he's got the potential to where he can get a turnover. I think he can jump her out, and he's going to get burnt. But I think he has potential to where he can jump her out and get a pick, because if I remember reading a stat that Brady's thrown a pick in the last 5 games.
I didn't see that stat, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if Dane Jackson has a pick. It wouldn't also surprise me at all if Dane Jackson gives up a deep pass. And to be honest with you, I'm okay with that. I mean, the reality is if the Bills move into a cover 2 shell, a Tampa 2, if you will, which is ironic because we're in Tampa playing Tampa. Obviously, it's not the Tampa 2 wasn't based off of this Tampa team. It was Tony Dungy and his defense. If they move into a Tampa 2, it's almost okay if Dane Jackson does get beat over the top, because the safety should deter, if you will, Tom Brady from trying to make those attempts, make those passes, which will put them in a situation where they're going to dink and dunk their way down the field, and you've got to hope for that defense to bend but not break. Right? That's kind of the position we're in. How much can that defense bend and not break? What is a realistic point total that we can hold them to, in your thoughts? Like, where do you think we can, 21, 17, 27, 30? Like, what do you think is a realistic point total?
I'm thinking it's going to be a higher score. I'm thinking it's 34-31 Tampa.
It's 34-31
and I hope I'm wrong.
If it's 34-31 Tampa, John Herring's point, he said earlier that we can't be balanced. He's absolutely 100% right. We can't go into this football game as a balanced football team. They've got to just cut it loose and throw caution to the wind for what? No pun intended, right?
No, if we don't throw at least 50 times a game, we're going to get our butts handed to us.
Exactly.
And that's all there is to it.
Exactly.
We need Allen running. We need him passing. We needed that the whole season, though. We needed that last week, and we didn't get it. Exactly. I mean, if first and goal in the 6th, and it seemed to me like they wasted time instead of just going and rolling out Josh and scoring a touchdown and seeing if the rookie could beat us, even though he had the win with him, see if our defense could stop them. And I don't think that they would have gotten a field goal range in a minute and a half. Right. And we got too cute and didn't do it. Right. Agreed, 100%. So give me a Josh Allen stat line. Excuse me. I'm thinking he's going to be up around 300, maybe 325 at least. I think it's going to have. I'm hoping if they're in this game, it's got to be higher than that. If they take the handcuffs off, we need Josh to have 400 yards and at least 4 touchdowns if we're going to win the game. I agree. I just don't know if Brian Daboll and McDermott's going to be on the same page. I don't know who's I don't know who's calling the shots, because if Dayball is calling the shots, then have him open it up.
Yeah, I'm with you. What do you got for a score prediction? I know you've given a couple different ones. If you had to give me this is my score prediction. What is it?
34-31.
34-31 Bucs or Bills?
Bucs.
Well, this is the first time since last year I've had you and Brian Bowers on the show. So had a really good year last year, and that especially down the stretch. So maybe that run begins this week. So I haven't given my score prediction yet. I'm going to wait a couple minutes. But, Richard, you enjoy this football game and just enjoy what you're about to see. Tom Brady versus Josh Allen, probably for the last time ever, unless they go to the Super Bowl together. It's going to be a fun one.
It's going to be an exciting game. I'm so diehard, and I know my wife knows I'm so diehard. She asked me last week, she said, how do you do this every week? I said, that's a good question. It's a legitimate good question, because I asked it in our mod squad group with Brian and Elliot and Don Hanson, and I know I'm missing somebody. Oh, Matthew Montgomery.
This is what I would tell you. There's something about people from Buffalo, and I know that you're not from Buffalo, but you're one of us now. There's something about resiliency and who we are and fighting the weather and getting kicked down and knocked down and always getting back up and being called the armpit of America for people that have never been here. You got it, Richard. You've got that bone in your body. That's a market dominator walking behind me right now, John Spazchek, ladies and gentlemen.
I was born with it.
Yes, you were born with it. So
I was born out of place.
I appreciate you.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it.
You enjoy this game tomorrow. We'll talk probably afterwards. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Later, bro. So I'm going to go ahead and probably wrap this thing up a little bit early, as you guys just don't seem to. I don't know if I have no idea if you guys can hear me or not. I can't hear myself. It's really loud. The internet connection is really bad. So I'm going to wrap this thing up for the sake of all of us. But I'm going to do my best to enjoy, as I'm sitting here looking at Pinto Ron Kenny standing over there, and Bill's Elvis is here, and Abby Bill's Mafia Bay is here, and Kristen Kimmick is. You can't see her, but she's Kristen. Market Dominators here. There's a whole bunch of people here, but it's good to have you guys just tuned in. I apologize, I didn't do a better job of preparing. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow for the Overreaction Show. I have no idea. I'm going to do my best to go at 9. We're going to see what happens, but this is what I'm going to tell you. Regardless of what happens in this football game tomorrow, I'm going to enjoy every minute of hanging out with the Mafia. This is a dream come true, being at a destination. There's Bills Mafia everywhere in a foreign city. It's absolutely incredible. So I would just encourage all of you to do the same. Enjoy the people that you're with. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy the football game. There's only so many of these left this year, and then it's going to be, unfortunately, the offseason, as we know. So if I had a Josh Allen stat line prediction, Elvis. There's Bill's Elvis. If I had a Josh Allen stat line for this football game, or stat prediction, I should say. Probably, if they let him do if they have any chance of winning, he's got to be over 400, 420, 425. 4 touchdowns through the air, only chance, maybe 1 rushing. Score for me, man, it's tough. If I'm going to pick the Bills, I'm going to pick probably 35-32. Buffalo, tight game. If I'm picking the Bucs, I'm probably picking a similar score, 30-27, 32-27. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you have been tuned into the Bills Mafia Time to Shine on the Buffalo Rumblings Vidcast Network. My name is Bo Miller. I think I said that at the beginning, but it's at the top. You can see it. It's good to have you guys with me. Enjoy this football game tomorrow. I love you guys. Coming up at 9 o'clock, I should say, Eastern Standard Time, so in 25 minutes is the Chop Up with Jay Spencer King, Sterling, Kristen Kimmick, and Angelina. So make sure that you jump in for that. Don't miss that show. tomorrow, 9 p.m., right around, not before. If it's not 9, it'll be shortly after 9 p.m. Going to be live for the Overreaction postgame show. I hope. So be ready for that. And then Monday, Off Tackle with John Fee. Tuesday, Code of Conduct. Wednesday, Hump Day Hotline. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been so good to have you with me. Enjoy this football game tomorrow. Joe Miller, Buffalo Rumblings. Stick around for the chop up. As always, go Bills.